All right, Tim, Paul here. So it took me a day to figure out how I wanted to respond to your question, as I'm not an instinctive shooter. So it's kind of made me think, and I like that. Keeping an eye on my dog. So what I come up with was like one or two things. You're either experiencing target panic legitly, or you're experiencing a false target panic, which is derived from bad alignment and form, which it can feel the same. I mean, even now, me shooting is a while with good form and alignment, when my alignment gets off and I'm at full draw, I can feel like the bow collapses me, and I feel like I have a big jerk, because when you let go of tension, if you're not supporting that tension on a bone perfect alignment type situation, then the bow's going to collapse you, and you're going to feel like you have a really big jerk. And it can feel like target panic, but it really ain't. Hold on, let me holler at my dog. All right, bring on my dog up. So it's either deriving from an alignment and form issue, or you legitly got target panic and you're shooting off of a sight-based type of triggered shot. Not necessarily like a sear or a clicker or anything, but your visual sight picture of what you're doing is actually making you shoot, which both are very legitimate and both are very debilitating if you can't figure out what's what. Because you could be treating a bad form and alignment type false target panic with, you know, psycho triggers and, you know, holding drills, when that's not going to help if you don't fix your form and alignment. So what I would suggest is we diagnose which one it is. Send me some videos of you shooting. I want to check out your form and alignment and see if that's a root. But if your form and alignment's good, then we need to figure out a way to separate the aim and the release. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do that. And you said you've dabbled with triggers and stuff like that. I still shoot a trigger. I shoot the internal trigger. It's not a sear. It's not a clicker. I simply, for lack of better terms, fart in my mouth. So I'll come to full draw. I'll gather an air pocket right there in the corner of my mouth, and when I have everything ready, the sight picture looks good, I'm ready to fire that arrow, I'll increase tension until that air breaks. You might better hear it. Over the front of my teeth. And I go ahead and release my shot. It's probably been one of the harder triggers for me to master, as it's not as tactile as a sear, like a fingernail off a tab, or a nail off a riser, or the click of a clicker blade. But it's zero tension in the setup, it's zero tension in the string hand or the bow hand, and it's the most accurate one for me. That said, it doesn't work for everybody, and triggers are not cures for target panic. All they are separators for the aim and the release, right? So you still got to address the shot properly with form and alignment. You still have to run your shot process from step one to step whatever that is, and you got to do it correctly. Otherwise, you're not going to fix your issue. So if you're not the form and alignment type of false target panic, where it's just collapsing you and feeling like you're panicky, you need to figure out a way to separate that aim. You can do holding drills, are a good one for the separation, just so you can get used to aiming and it not really having any kind of meaning. It's just putting the point of the arrow, well, you're an instinctive shooter, let me rephrase that. It's just drawing back and putting that sight picture, whatever that is, where it needs to be, and you not firing, right? So for me, I'll draw back and aim, and sometimes I'll add little micro holding drills into my shot, and I might have to let down if it doesn't go past my feeling of, let me choose the words right, my rhythm. I don't like my length of my shot to go past a certain point or a certain time. If I pull back and I aim and I ever get the idea, why haven't I shot yet? I gotta let down and start over, because that shot is gonna be bad. if I try to muscle through it. Now, if I haven't got to that point, and say I have like a little, not a collapse, but I just kind of have like a little jerk, I can muscle through those as long as the duration of my hold hasn't went past what I feel is too long to make a good shot. If I shoot really fast, my shots are not really good either. So I have a window, not too slow, not too fast, just right. And for me, that's where most people would fall into their best shot, is that just right rhythm from shooting, snap shooting, to holding like you're freaking a compound shooter. You know what I mean? So do 3 to 5 second holding drills. You can do them at the beginning of your practice session. You can do them at the end of your practice session. But if you're holding 3 seconds and you're starting to shake, you're probably not in good alignment. Here's my hold. Count them up. So I went about, I counted in my head about 6 to 7 seconds. And then I started having a little bit of quiver from muscle fatigue. You should be able to at least go that long and then build yourself up. I haven't done holding drills in forever, so my 5 to 6 seconds is about all I'm good for. Those will help separate the aim a little bit. But make sure you're not doing that at a blank bale, you're doing it at a target, or a 3D target or something like that, because a blank target doesn't correlate aiming and holding. It only correlates your holding back at a blank target and doesn't let the mind see an actual target. So you need something that you're intending to hit, but you're holding longer than you would before you would fire the arrow, if that makes sense. I might not have said that right. But sometimes I'll do holding drills and then execute a shot. So it'll look something like this. So I'll pull back and aim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll execute a good clean shot, just to get me past that point of where I would normally shoot off the sight picture. You know what I mean? So you can try those and see if they help. And they probably will. If the sight picture is what's triggering your shot. And something else I was thinking of, for as long as on the instinctive side of things, like, because I had to think, like, what could trigger a shot for an instinctive guy. And I hear a lot of instinctive guys, they'll pull back, and as soon as their finger hits the corner of their mouth, the arrow's gone, right? Well, that's not really that good either, to a point, if your sight picture is not where it needs to be when your finger gets to the corner of your mouth. That's not a good thing in my mind either. So you need to kind of, I ain't saying you got to have a 5 second hold, but there should be a little bit of a delay from anchor to release to make sure everything's good and where it needs to be, alignment wise and form wise. If it's not, then that could spell trouble. You said you tried, oh, there goes deers. We got a mama deer and a fawn that's living in the woods around us. She's raising it right here. So you said you tried triggers, and they did work, but not completely cure you of target panic. Well, triggers, they're not a cure for target panic. All they are a tool to help you separate the aim and the release. That is it. Triggers are not going to fix you if you don't separate. So here's my trigger that I shoot. It's an internal trigger. For lack of a better word, I just fart in my mouth. You might be able to hear it, you might not. So literally what I do is I'll draw back and aim, and this is a very non-tactile trigger. So I'll draw back and aim, put air in the pocket of my mouth, and when I'm ready to shoot, I'll push, and when the air breaks across the top of my teeth, that is what allows me, or gives me permission, to make a good, clean release. something else that it could be. And if you watched my video the other day about where to release the arrow from, that is, I don't care if you have great form and alignment. If you release that tension anywhere in the back shoulder and not out of the flexors, that's also going to cause a collapse on you and cause you to have that false kind of target panic. That's what I got. Now we can try these things. If they don't work, we can go back to the drawing board. We can try some other things. So just let me know what goes on. I don't know if I've used your name or not. I'm going to post this on YouTube for other instinctive guys if they're having the same problem. So this is not just for the one person. This is for the multitude that may be having target panic, that are instinctive, that just want to have a couple little tips they might be able to use. But I'll send it to you and just try it. And if it don't work, hit me up. We'll figure it out. We'll get you straight. But anyway, take care, shoot straight. God bless.